$88.1 The Burg, your music central. It's Orton the Bear. Happy Friday to everyone out there. Will, happy Friday to you as well.
Thanks, Payton. Happy Flex Friday to you, too.
Flex Friday? Is that something Brendan Swolman got you on, or what?
No, the lifting coach over at Oregon, Aaron Field, the guy with the cool mustache.
Yeah, mustache guy.
Yeah. Friday is our Flex Friday, so all the Oregon guys post like a Flex Friday picture. It's pretty cool. He's a pretty funny guy if you're into that sort of weightlifting thing. He's a funny follow. He always talks about doing, like, if he's squatting, he's like, oh, I'm doing glute curls or something like that. He's a pretty funny dude.
So does that mean you're going to do the show shirtless to flex?
Yeah, I'll do it for you.
Okay, cool. Remember, people, tune into our videos. It's on 88.1 The Burg. We'll put them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our YouTube page at 88.1 The Burg. Now that we have shirtless Will, we are ready to go for the show. Look at those traps, by the way. Well
Dude,
done.
I'm telling you, man. Quarantine's been good to my arms. I actually have them for once in my life.
God, that's so good to hear. So big news going on, and we should have learned this about 2 years ago when the Tide Pod Challenge came out, and then there was all those CDC warnings to not ingest Tide Pods. People are saying that, they're taking the president's words that he wanted people to ingest some sort of disinfectant to try and combat the coronavirus. And there are medical experts who are warning against it. Here is one medical expert that I found on Twitter who is saying, do not ingest any sort of disinfectant to try and combat the coronavirus.
No.
And there it is. No, that's a medical professional. I trust the medical professionals in this one. Will, don't do the Tide Pod Challenge. I know we like Challenge Thursdays. Please don't do the Tide Pod Challenge.
I've never once thought about ingesting Tide Pod, so I'm good. Although, just to play devil's advocate here, it could work. The problem is everyone that tests this theory dies. So we don't know if they really got rid of the coronavirus or not.
It's not a risk worth taking in my humble opinion, whether it's Clorox or Tide or Germex, what are some hand sanitizer, because those are disinfectants as well. We got to stay away from these. I mean, no matter how good a soap smells, don't eat it. Not everything that smells good is something that you should ingest. I like the smell of gasoline. I will never ingest gasoline.
You're a psychopath. First off, gasoline does not smell good. Gasoline smells awful. It's gross. So you're crazy there. But I'm just saying, like, haven't our mothers been testing us on this for years? Like, when you were a kid and you said a cuss word, all of a sudden you're getting soap in your mouth. Maybe this is the way to defeat corona. It's like in your nose. So don't put it in your mouth. Maybe you shove the soap bar up your nose.
But I don't think soap bars aren't antibacterial. I think that they're just cleansing. So you got to go with some hand sanitizer and really shove it up there.
You got to take a whole thing of Purell and just tilt your nose like the nasal pots.
Yeah, the neti
keep
pot.
Spraying it in there until it goes all the way around. It's the only way to cure this disease.
Or how about this? Here, we could do a slow release disinfectant where you freeze hand sanitizer, kind of like ice cubes, and then you break them up and put them up your nose, and then they melt. And it's like the cough drop, but hand sanitizer version.
It's the only logical thing that can work. Remember, I know MD stands for Milk Daddy on my thing, but if you're not paying attention, you could confuse me with a doctor.
Yeah, Will Ortner, MD, Milk Daddy. There's a lot of other ways that we could go about this, but I think the number one thing out there is do not ingest disinfectant. It's not going to work. Honestly, you have a better shot at drinking Everclear and trying to get rid of the bacteria.
Well, look, let's just be honest. Listen to paid doctor professionals. They will give you what you should and should not ingest. Maybe don't listen to crazy people who run our country.
That's one way to put it. I agree with you there.
Don't be a COVID-idiot.
A COVID-idiot, is that what you said?
Yeah, don't be a COVID-idiot.
88 won the Burg, Your Music Central, it's Or the Bear, and last night was a first. The NFL draft went virtual. A lot of things to take from it. You had some top-tier awareness out of a wide receiver. You had some incredible inside looks into coaches and GM homes and how they go about things. And then you get some questionable decisions, i.e. the Packers, and I think the Seahawks had a questionable decision in there. We can get into that. Will, what's your biggest takeaway from the NFL draft?
My biggest takeaway is that Roger Goodell may or may not be a robot. It was very interesting watching him try to interact with fans. Like, they'd have fans that came up and were supposed to cheer and yell and be all excited for whoever their team was drafting, and he'd, like, come in and be like, come on, guys, say yay, cheer, hooray. It was just the funniest thing. Like, how can you have no personality there? You have to have at least a little bit of, like, can you dig it? And come in and be all excited, and he just wasn't. It was pretty funny to me.
And then there was that one time where he tried, telling the city of Las Vegas that they were going to get the NFL draft next year. He stumbled on his words and said Dallas, and then he said the 2020 draft, not the 2021 draft. He messed everything up. It was like Joe Biden stumbling over his words like he does every time there's a camera in front of him. So there was a lack of trades. It took all the way until like pick 24 to see our first trade. Pick 13 or 14, there was a trade in there. And then there was only 2 other trades in the first round. This was unusual, and it was kind of strange. I think that this is because of that video format, that there's a lack of trades. And I would have liked to see more. And the Seahawks were in talks about a trade with the Packers before they traded up with the 49ers. All weird stuff going on. And I really don't like that Packers decision to go and draft a quarterback because they just used the first-round pick on somebody who's not going to contribute to them for another 2 years. The Packers did not get better at all in this first-round pick.
Well, and I don't know about that. The draft is very hard because, when the Seahawks drafted Irving, Wagner, and Russell Wilson, they got an F on it. Obviously, that was not an F draft. That was one of the best ever. But when you look at the Packers, this is their MO. It's what they did with Favre and Rodgers. Now that Rodgers is old, they've just drafted his replacement. They want him to learn for a couple years. Love was already going to be a project for most teams. It makes sense to me. I see what they're doing. I think they're going to wait. Honestly, if you have him ride the bench for 2 or 3 years, by the time he gets to start, you can probably sign him for a second contract for cheap again, which is what a lot of teams are having to do so that they can build these championship teams around these quarterbacks.
Your first-round pick should contribute in the season in which you draft him. They should be a contributing factor as a rookie. Taking a quarterback in this situation who's not going to see the field for 2 years does not make the Green Bay Packers, a team who just went to the NFC Championship game, any better going into next season.
See, but that's not what they're playing for. They're playing for the long haul. They said the same thing when the Packers went out and drafted Aaron Rodgers. And look at how well that turned out for them. The Packers have been relevant since the 90s to all the way into 2020 for playoff potential. They think they found a quarterback in Jordan Love who's going to play more of the new style of quarterback, a guy who can be on the move. He can still make the throws, big, strong arm. Not quite so accurate, but he's going to get there. They believe that now they've made another pick, and they're going to be relevant again for another 15 years down the road. I don't necessarily love that it's Jordan Love that they went out and picked. I don't necessarily think he's the best decision there. But if he's your guy, I get it. It's time to get another draft pick in. It's time to get the replacement in.
So Jordan Brooks is the Seahawks' newest linebacker. He's at Texas Tech. A lot of people are upset with this pick because nobody really knows anything about Jordan Brooks. He's from Texas Tech. Nobody really watched Texas Tech football all year long. People who have watched Texas Tech and Texas Tech football, they say he's an explosive guy. He's quick. He's fast. He can cover people. I could see how the Seahawks did this in kind of a pick to try and contain younger quarterbacks like Kyler Murray, who you're going to see twice a year. You're going to need that speed to kind of track him. But what I don't like about this pick is Patrick Queen was still on the board when the Seahawks were drafting. You could have went after the linebacker out of LSU and got a guy who just comes off of a national championship and really contributed to the best team in football.
Yeah, it's a weird pick, especially since you probably could have gotten him in the second round with your 2 second-round draft choices. Obviously, they are in the back half, so maybe they didn't think that he would fall that far. I understand the move. KJ's 30, Bobby's 29. When you're a linebacker, it's very rare to have a gradual drop-off. Usually it's you go, 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 and you hit a wall and you drop. Look at Patrick Willis. And so I think what they're trying to do is similar to what Green Bay did with Aaron Rodgers. You draft an inside linebacker who's fast and can cover, so he can play in this new style of NFL football, and he gets to learn from the best 2 linebackers in the league over their time in it. I get it. It's just a weird pick. I think you could have gotten him in the second round.
Yeah, and I think with this kind of pick, I think John Schneider was probably trying to trade out of the first round and ended up taking the guy who he was going to take in the second round. He just couldn't find a trade suitor. What I did learn from yesterday is John Schneider is my neighbor. He is a resident of Newcastle, very small, tight-knit community here. So shout out to my neighbor, John Schneider.
Hey, man, dude, you better go over there and figure out where he's at. Knock on his door. Get him on the show. Orton the Bear and John Schneider. Schneids.
I'll do my best to see what Schneids is up to. 88-1 the Burg, your music central. It's Orton the Bear, and the NFL draft, the first round, took place last night, and we saw some great things due to these video cams. We saw inside Cliff Kingsbury's $4.4 million house that looks like a car dealership with all these glass sliding doors. Although it was like 85 in Arizona yesterday, and Cliff Kingsbury had a fireplace going on outside that was like a huge flame. What's the point of that? What's the point of a fireplace when it's 85 and you're going to be sweating outside?
He uses it to get all his model girlfriends. Like, that is exactly the house that I pictured him to be in. And every single person that he's been linked to in a relationship, they're all models. I guarantee you it's a whole thing. Like, hey, come back to my $4.4 million mansion, ladies. Come check out what Cliff Kingsbury's got going on.
Look, and I understand that fashion and sense of style is one thing, but the picture of him, he's sitting on his couch, he's got the high water pants going for him. He's got all that money and he can't afford just a little bit of dress sock. He does the no sock look. I can't get on board with the no sock look.
Payton. You're just not as fashionable as me and old Cliff over there. We know that's the new style. No socks, baby.
No socks with the dress shoes? That's just wear some dress socks. It's not that hard. They look stylish. They look good.
I don't know, man. Cliff Kingsbury, he's a hot man. I was down for what he was working with over there. I might want to go over and check out his house.
No, I for sure would. And we got an inside look at Titans head coach's Mike Vrabel's house, where his sons were putting on quite a show. They had a very chintzy type of tarp set up for the Tennessee Titans. And then one of his sons was wearing his Pro Bowl jersey. The other looked like Frozone from The Incredibles. Vrabel was just kind of chilling there by himself. And then in the background mirror, you can see somebody using the restroom with the door wide open. I don't really understand why an NFL head coach has this sort of show going on, but I don't think he was ready for the NFL draft.
Oh, no, this is quintessential Vrabel. Remember, this is the same guy who said that he's chop off his you-know-what to win a Super Bowl when he's already won multiple Super Bowls as a player, and his wife agreed and said she'd be okay with it. This is the family that's just straight up electric, and I loved it. And I want, from now on, him to always draft in his house so that I can see what his friends and family do to try to mess with him.
So we also got our first meme of the 2020 NFL season, and that is CeeDee Lamb has become a meme. He was sitting next to presumably his girlfriend, could be his sister, probably his girlfriend.
The main.
And he had two phones in his hand. His left hand had an iPhone. His right hand had an iPhone. He puts his right hand up to his ear to try and talk on it. The girlfriend goes and grabs for the phone out of his left hand, and immediately, without even looking, reaches over, grabs it, takes the iPhone back. Girlfriend looks disappointed, and that man has something on his phone that she cannot see.
Well, dude, that was just – honestly, those were two great plays. Smart move by the girlfriend because, CeeDee Lamb, He's a big name. You know he doesn't just have one girlfriend. There's multiple. So let's get that out in the open right now. She was going in to see if she could catch him. Vet move. Wait until he's distracted. Wait until the biggest moment of his life when he's about to get drafted to go in and try and figure out why he's texting Popeyes at midnight. And then an even better move on his part to notice that she was taking his phone away. He used that man awareness, probably at like 99, take his phone back and be like, hey, I just have a good deal with Popeyes and with McDonald's and all these other fast food places, and I'm a free flyer, and that's why they text me at 1 or 2 in the morning. You can't see that. I have a deal. You don't.
And then you also get a look into, like, Bill Belichick's life, where he looks like he's in the dining room of, like, my grandmother's house, where it's the most simple, basic, vintage home with just a dining room table, 4 chairs around it, and a nice little bookshelf that doesn't have any books on it, but has things that look nice in a dining room. I don't know why I'm surprised to see that from Bill Belichick, but I am, but it fits the shoe perfectly.
I guarantee you he doesn't care about it at all. I bet he's not in that. I bet he'd rather have been risking Corona in the Patriots facility than be at home. That's just the type of guy that when I look at him, and I know football coaches, he's the type of guy that spends the whole season sleeping in his office and is happy about it. He's a true football guy.
And then last but not least, Jerry Jones decided to flex his home on us with his, I believe it's I'll get the price on it. He has a super yacht, and the super yacht is hundreds of millions of dollars.
250, I believe.
$250 million. Now, that's a lot of money. Think of $1 million and multiply it by 250, and that's what he has floating on water.
No, and he had the best draft of all. All of his scouts were texting him, hey, you should look at this guy, you should look at this guy. And he texted all his scouts back and said, don't talk to me, I'm trying to draft. I don't need you experts. I'm Jerry Jones. I'm going to go get the best player. But he did make a good pick in getting CeeDee Lamb. So
he's playing full dictator down there in Texas, and that's what you get to do when you run the Dallas Cowboys. President, owner, GM. Soon enough, he's going to be the head coach once Mike McCarthy gets fired. Might
as well, man. I mean, he can do it all, according to him. Him and his escort girlfriends are going to take over that.
A few more days of the NFL draft upcoming. Hopefully that we see a few more fireworks going on. When we come back on Monday, we'll try and break down everything the Seahawks do.
No. Not Monday.
Excuse me. We'll come back on Tuesday. We're going to take breaks now coming back on Monday. So when we're back next week, Tuesday, make sure to check it out. We'll break down some Seahawks draft picks. And make sure that you're staying around on our social media sites because Will Orner's putting out great content with everything he's watching on Netflix. Check out his blogs and things that he's creating content-wise over there. Drop us a line on Twitter. Tweet at us, #OrtonTheBear. We'll respond to it. It's 88.1 The Burg, your Music Central.
Love you, Mom.